Alright, sorry for the abrupt killing there of the intro, but I let it loop one time a little too many. So I'm starting a little bit earlier. I didn't want to sit there and let it loop all the way around again. But today is September 7th, 2022, live Christmas drawing. And today, this drawing was requested by my youngest son, but I'm going to add my Christmas twist to it. So he's been huge on playing Cuphead. That's all he likes to do. He loves playing it. He loves beating it. He's gotten very good at it. So he's beaten every boss, and one of his favorite bosses is Dice Man, but for today's episode, we're going to be drawing the devil himself. And then I'll add my Christmas twist to it, like I mentioned before. So we're going to start with our sketch layer of the devil. And this game has definitely become one of my favorite games. It's very frustrating. It's an extremely frustrating game. It's your basic run and gun type game, but it's done with a classic animation style. It's really good. It's been out a few years. There's even some additional downloadable content, but a great game, but extremely frustrating at times. And if you're a fan of old cartoons, you'd love the animation style. There's actually a cartoon about it. Oh, Christmas Clatter, how's it going, Todd? Thanks for joining me. Glad to see you hop on there. But yeah, there's actually a Netflix cartoon about this game as well. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit because I didn't really leave room for his horns. Now I'll just move it a little bit. So yeah, basically the way I do all of my daily drawings is I'll start with a pencil layer, try to get everything done within a half hour. So depending on the level of intricacy, it could take a little bit longer, I guess. But I usually keep it to a half hour. Make his nose a little larger there. My son, for the longest time, was obsessed with wearing masks, and I ended up making most of the bosses and enemies and characters from Cuphead as masks. I might post those up at some point, too. I have pictures of the process of making all those. They were pretty fun to make. I just used cardboard. But I think what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to kind of tie it in with the other Christmas element of Krampus. Since it is the devil, I was just going to throw, a hat on him, but then I'm like, well, it's just going to look like Krampus, so I might as well just turn him into Krampus. I always called these classic pie eyes, or Pac-Man eyes, I guess, whatever you really want to call them. They do remind me of Pac-Man. And the devil in the game is nude. He's not wearing any clothes, but he's covered in black fur. So I think I'm going to leave that aspect of him for this drawing, just because I don't really want to put him in the full Santa outfit or Krampus outfit. I'm just going to give him probably a whip and a bag. And not a bag full of toys. It's going to be a bag filled with bad, naughty children. Okay, we'll zoom in here and do his feet. Large feet, not any fur on his feet, but it's a three-toed devil with nice, sharp toenails. This kind of ties in with a lot of the Halloween stuff we see coming up now. I have not seen any Halloween Cuphead merchandise. Like I said, the game's been out for a couple of years now, so I don't know how popular it is. I know last year I did see kind of a generic, I don't even know if it was official, a generic costume on Amazon. I was going to buy it, but then I never did, of Cuphead and Mugman. Alright, so now I think in this arm, what I'm going to do, we'll have his fur come out here, but I'm going to have him holding the bag. Let's see. I don't know if I really... Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm going to... Let me erase some of that, or go back a few steps. What I think I'm going to do is just have a little bit of the bag opening here, and I'm going to have it actually open a little bit, and then I'll draw something coming out of that bag. I'm going to keep it behind him though, just because I don't want to lose some of the features of his foot there. So we're going to just keep it here, and then maybe a little kid's arm coming out. It's going to be a little gruesome here. I might draw the bag stained a little bit. But hey, drawing a Christmas drawing every day for a full year, you're bound to get a couple of them that are a little more on the gruesome side. Not that Christmas every day is a bad thing, because it's definitely not, but I have a couple of the drawings that I did throughout the year that are a little unsavory, probably not too fun to look at for the kids. But you got to switch it up. All right, now on this hand, I'm gonna. Normally in the game he has a trident, a classic trident that the devil would have, but his looks more like in the game it looks kind of more like what's the guy? Is it Zeus? Whatever, the one in The Little Mermaid's dad. How about we'll say it like that? It looked like his trident in the game, but instead of him holding his trident, we're gonna have him holding a whip. I'll touch that up a little better in the ink layer. And that's basically what the devil looks like in the game. So I think I'm going to add kind of a Jack Skellington-ish type of a beard. And I'm going to make it an obvious fake beard. I'll make it hanging off of his face a little bit. And while I'm at it, I will add the element of a hat, of a Santa hat, but I'm going to have it busting through the horns. I didn't really leave too much room for that, so I think I'm going to move the horns up a little bit. That's what happens when you kind of do some drawings on the fly. Make a few last minute changes. I might as well add a little bit of a Tim Burton-esque hat to it as well. And the ink layer, I'll touch that up. So I think that's about it for the pencil layer. Thank you very much, Todd. Sorry if I don't pay attention to the chat there as often. All right, so now we're going to make sure I have... Yeah, see, last night my drawing I did with a technical pen. I'm going to switch this up to one of my favorite for cartoony style drawings. We'll do the syrup one. I'm going to start with the horns here. I'm actually going to lighten up that background layer because I made it pretty dark. That way it's out of my way, but I could still see it. So we'll draw our horns there. Top of the hat. His ear is here, so I'll just add that little piece while I'm right there. We'll add the bottom part. I left that little spot open just because I'm going to have his eyeball actually go up on the top there. A little too large with that eyeball. Then the pupils. Do our pie eye, Pac-Man pupil. And get his mouth in here. I think for the sake of this drawing, so he looks a little more evil, I'm going to give him some... I'll give him some real pointy teeth. All right, thank you very much for stopping in, Todd. I appreciate it. I'm going to hop on a little bit later when you're on, and I'll be watching you. So thanks for checking it out. I really appreciate it, man. And if you're already gone, I'll tell you that later. All right, so we're going to draw the beard in here. again, supposed to be a fake beard, just because, really, it's still the devil from Cuphead, disguised as Krampus. And I believe he would have quite a dirty beard, stained with some of the children that didn't really want to go with him, if you will. All right, I think we're looking pretty good on the face there. So now we'll just move to the body. And draw this part of the whip in here while I'm right here. I don't like that. I kind of like it when it looks a little more pointy like that. Give him a little knuckle swirls here. Connect that. And we'll finish up the whip here. And like I said, I'll try to do this a little nicer than the sketch I did. That is a thick whip up top. That's gonna hurt. I don't like that. Hey, can you tell I don't really have much experience with whips here, so I don't know. Alright, we'll make it snapping. That looks good. We'll finish up this side of his body, then we'll get the bag. This part's going to be covered by his hand a little bit. There we go. All right. Onto the other leg, and then we'll do the feet and the bag. Anybody that's watching live or catches this later, the person that dropped in before was Christmas Clatter. That's another Christmas podcast, obviously named Christmas Clatter. He's been doing his podcast this season live, and he's live tonight as well. I believe tonight he said he's visiting a Christmas log cabin type store, so that'll be cool to watch. All right, there we go with the feet. Then we'll finish up this arm fur here. I still have a couple episodes to watch of season 2 of Cuphead on Netflix, so I might finish that up this week. All right, so we're going to have that kid's arm there, reaching out. Then another leg over here with a classic Chuck Taylor knockoff shoe. A little bit of blood or sweat, tears, whatever would be coming out of Krampus's bag. All right. There we go. Now I'm going to eliminate the pencil layer so I could see a little bit better here. Add a little bit of extra jazz to the picture, if you will. Then we'll add our color layer, and this piece will be done with our Krampus-style devil from Cuphead. I don't know why. I guess it's not that it's a signature, but in all my pieces, I got these the little extra things that I like to put in there. I always like to do some stitches like that. your classic patchwork up there. And then one of my favorites, I don't know why this reminds me of Charlie Brown. I'm thinking maybe there was something to do with it. One episode where, maybe it's Pigpen. That's probably what it is. The old hash mark lines like that. Most likely it's Pigpen, come to think of it. All right, we'll add a few extra stray hairs coming off of them. You always got to watch where you add the stray hairs. You don't want something to look too odd. Kneecaps, places that bend, that's always good places to add extra hairs coming off. Always add a couple on the ears as well. But I think that's because I have a hair that grows out of my ear on the side. Little things you don't need to know about me. All right, I think we're going to reference this layer and add a layer, and we'll see how well we did with filling in here. So we're going to move it below that, and we'll start coloring in. So the devil in the game, his horns are a bit of a yellowish tone. So we're going to drop that in there. His eyes are yellow. His pupils are red. Very menacing. While we're on the red, I'm going to go a little bit darker. Fill the hat in there. Looks good. Get this part over here. The patchwork on the hat, we'll go with a dark green. Then the whip, we'll do a bit on the grayer side. Everything's filling in nicely today, but now that I said that, it's probably going to not work out for me soon. So I'm just going to keep going a little bit darker with each of these layers. That way they stay all separate, but they're in the gray tone. And then his hands and feet are a lighter gray. So we'll... Oh, there we go. See, I spoke too soon. No big deal. That's an easy fix. I did the same on there. And I could tell you where it is. It's in the toe area. Yeah. All right. I'm actually just going to fix that. It'll just be quicker if I fix it. So I'm going to go in here and close that gap. I'm pretty sure that's the only one. And this one right here. Now we'll drop fill in and see if we got it. Yep. And yes. Now we'll check the hands. This hand looks good. And this hand, there's not much to it. Perfect. All right. Now we'll do the Krampus sack, if you will. We'll keep that to the tan colors because I'm going to dirty that up a little bit with some stains. And the inside's going to be a little darker, but something just caught my eye right away, so I'm going to close that before I have any issues. And that's this little gap right there. So back to the color layer. There's so many times where I'm filling in colors and I end up going to the wrong layer, and then it messes everything up. I believe this was the bag color because I forgot this up here. That one I missed too, but I'm just going to fill it in. Okay, now for the devil himself. In the game, he's a very dark gray. So I want to try to keep it to as close to dark gray as possible without making it look black, because I don't want to lose some of the lines in there. Alright, so this part here, what I'm going to do with this is another way you could do this real quick. I'm going to actually just select all of this. And then I'm going to erase it. That'll just be easier than going in and trying to fill that all in. Then I got to go back and color that part of the bag in. The gap that I left was right there in that bottom corner, which I'm sure you could see. All right, now we'll go back to the devil's fur, skin tone, whatever you want to call it. And we will fill in the rest of him. Then we'll color in the beard a little dirty. And actually, those should be white. Okay. Then we'll give him a bit of a dirty beard. Same thing with the hat. That's not good. I left a gap open there. And maybe for this we're going to leave his hat white. But I do see a part of his fur that I forgot. Right here on the ear. Alright, that looks good. We'll go down here, and little Johnny, he's going to get... there we go. Pretty pale looking. I guess it would be zombie-ish. We'll give him some blue jeans he was wearing, and we'll give him some red Converse. And I'll just erase the... Whoops. I'll just erase the bottom for the gap that I forgot. That works. Now I think we're going to make these blue. Don't know what they are. Maybe they're tears, crying children. Maybe we'll stick with that instead of blood, because the bag's going to be a little bloody. So what we'll do for the bag, we're going to go to my spray paints, and we got some flicks, splatters, and drips. So we're going to give them a couple of bloody splatters here. That'll work. That's good enough. Maybe his beard has a little bit in it. And maybe coming off the whips, a little snappy. And that looks good. So now we'll add a little bit of shading to him. So we're going to add another layer. This time we're going to go full black and lighten it up a little bit. Get back to our ink. Then we'll start adding a little bit of shadowing and highlights. And then we'll be done. All right, looking pretty good. There's a lot of gray in this piece, but not much I could really do about that. It's a full gray character. I might explore Krampus and do a Krampus style piece a little closer to Halloween, maybe. I'll have to look into it. I don't want this to be my only Krampus installation in my daily art here. All right, we'll highlight a little bit of stuff here, mainly like the eye area. I'm going to go to classic so I can get pure white. A little bit up there. Now, one thing I like about their style that they do, they highlight the devil a lot of times in like this vibrant purple, and it really stands out. So I'm going to just add a little bit of that around the edges like they do in the cartoon and in the game. That's a little bit too much. So let me thin that down. So they like I said, like to do some of his outlines in this purple. And it really stands out. But that's because he's always menacing on the show. Like he's always up in your face, yelling, and so we'll do a little of purple highlights. Even on his hands, we'll do a little. And hopefully my youngest son approves. Hopefully he likes it. We'll do a little bit on his face too. Perfect. Looks good to me. Now for that little extra added touch, we're going to go back to some red, go back to some paintbrush splatters in the spray paint. Maybe we'll add a nice big drip somewhere over here. A littler one down here. A few randoms here and there. Then we will go back to splatter. And what I'm going to do with this is automatically just select the background so I don't so I don't get it over the devil himself. I'm going to splatter it. And leave it like that. Unselect. We're going to sign it at the bottom. So go to my calligraphy brush. So today is September. What is it? September 7th. 2022. The Cuphead Devil, aka Cuphead Devil with Krampus. So let me bring that up here so you can check it out. And while I'm doing that and enlarging it so you can see, I'll be back here again next week, next Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern as usual. My daily artwork is posted up on my Instagram at Ague Designs, AGUEDESIGNS. And also, if you want to check out my coffee page, the links are at the end of this. It's just ko-fi.com/Ague Designs. I posted up a new gallery of all the artwork I did for the other Christmas podcast logos that I've been doing. So if you want to check that out, that's all in one gallery over there. So you don't have to go scrolling around the Instagram feed if you don't want to check it out over there. So to anyone watching now or later, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a good one.